Encounter in the Star Wars. In the endless void of space, where stars flicker like distant embers in the dark, war ignited, a war unlike any humanity had ever faced. For centuries, humankind had reached across the galaxy, pushing the boundaries of exploration and discovery. But no amount of preparation could have readied them for this, an encounter with a powerful and enigmatic alien civilization. They did not come in peace, and their arrival marked the beginning of a battle for survival. Aboard the flagship Aurora, Captain Elias Walker stood on the command deck, his gaze locked on the swirling abyss beyond the viewport. The air hummed with tension. A mysterious signal had drawn them to the outer edge of the galaxy, but what they found was far more than just a simple anomaly. Status report. Walker's voice was steady, though the weight of the unknown pressed heavily on his mind. Sir, unidentified vessels approaching fast. Lieutenant Naomi Reed responded, her tone tight. No recognition codes. They're not ours. Walker's jaw tightened. Alert the fleet. All units to battle stations. We're not taking any chances. In the vast expanse ahead, 3 colossal alien warships emerged from the shadow of a shattered moon. Their sleek silver forms pulsed with eerie purple light, like predators stalking prey. For the first time in human history, Earth was no longer alone. And as the engines of war roared to life, one thing became clear. This was not just a fight for the present. It was a battle for the future of humanity itself. Aboard the Aurora, the Earth Alliance's most advanced patrol ship, Colonel Elias Walker stood on the command deck, his hands clasped behind his back. The endless void of space stretched before him, broken only by the distant shimmer of stars. Yet, his focus lay elsewhere, on the mysterious signal they had been chasing for weeks. A signal not of human origin. Sir, we are approaching the signal's source, Lieutenant Naomi Reed reported, her voice tight with anticipation. Her fingers moved swiftly over the communications console. ETA, 2 minutes. Walker turned, his expression unreadable. Initiate a full-spectrum scan. I want every detail. Yes, sir? The hum of the ship's scanners filled the air as waves of energy swept through the surrounding space. Streams of data flooded the holographic display, but the readings made little sense. Anything? Walker asked, his voice calm but sharp. Reed shook her head slightly. No known energy signatures. Whatever it is, it's not one of ours. Commander Jack Holden stepped forward, arms crossed. Could be a trap. Walker's jaw tightened. If it is, we're ready. But I want answers. Reed's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted the scanner's sensitivity. For a moment, there was silence. Then a faint, irregular blip appeared on the screen. I have something, she exclaimed. Bearing 027, Mark 12. It's massive. Put it on the main display, Walker ordered. The holographic projection shifted, revealing a massive alien vessel. Its dark metallic hull pulsed with faint, glowing symbols. The design was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Unknown structure, Reed confirmed, voice barely above a whisper. No life signs detected, but it's active. Walker stepped closer to the display, his eyes narrowing. Open a channel. Let's see if they're listening. Yes, sir. Channel open. Walker's voice was steady, authoritative. This is Colonel Elias Walker of the Earth Alliance vessel Aurora. Identify yourselves. For a tense moment, there was nothing but silence. Then the comms crackled, and a deep, otherworldly voice echoed through the bridge. We have been waiting for you. Data from the scans flooded the screens, lines of complex readings scrolling rapidly. But one image froze everyone on the command deck. A sight both awe-inspiring and terrifying. 3 massive objects drifted silently among the shattered remains of a broken planet. Their alien design was unlike anything recorded before. Sleek and angular, their dark hulls shimmered with an eerie purple glow that pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. The air on the Aurora grew heavy with tension. Lieutenant Naomi Reed's fingers danced across the controls, her eyes locked on the readings. No greeting signal, no response to our hails, she reported, shaking her head slightly. They're just sitting there. Colonel Elias Walker stepped closer to the central display, his gaze fixed on the alien vessels. Each one was larger than any human warship. Silent, motionless, but undeniably active. There was no mistaking it. These were no derelicts. They were watching, waiting. Energy readings? Walker asked, his voice calm but sharp. Unstable, Naomi replied, her tone uneasy. It's not like any propulsion system we've seen before. And, sir, their power levels are rising. Commander Jack Holden leaned forward, his face tense. They could be charging weapons. Walker's brow furrowed. Keep our shields at maximum, maintain distance, but prepare for defensive maneuvers. Yes, sir, Holden responded, relaying the order to the bridge crew. The hum of the ship's shield generators grew louder, a constant reminder of the thin barrier separating them from the unknown. They're scanning us, Naomi reported suddenly. High-frequency bursts, deep, penetrating scans. They're analyzing every system we have. Walker clenched his jaw. They want to know what we're capable of. A tense silence filled the command deck. Every officer held their breath, waiting for the unknown ships to make their next move. Any sign of additional vessels? Walker asked. Negative, Naomi replied, scanning the surrounding space. It's just them. For a long moment, only the hum of the ship's systems filled the air. Walker's mind raced through possibilities: diplomacy, conflict, survival. One wrong move could mean annihilation. Open a channel again, he ordered. Let's give them one more chance. Naomi nodded, activating the comlink. Walker's voice was steady, unwavering. This is Colonel Elias Walker of the Earth Alliance vessel Aurora. We come in peace. Identify yourselves. For several seconds, there was no response, only silence. Then, without warning, the largest alien vessel stirred. A deep, resonant voice echoed across the bridge. You are not prepared. Suddenly, the warning alarms blared, and the tactical screens flared to life with urgent red signals. Colonel, they're locking weapons on us, the radar officer shouted, his voice tight with alarm. Walker didn't hesitate. Raise energy shields to maximum. Deploy tactical formation now. The Aurora shifted smoothly into an evasive stance, flanked by two smaller escort ships moving into defensive positions. Every hand on the command deck moved with trained precision, but the tension in the air was palpable. A heartbeat later, blinding streaks of purple energy tore through the void. The alien vessels had fired. The first blast slammed into the Aurora's forward shields, shaking the ship violently. Lights flickered as the hull groaned under the impact. Direct hit! Lieutenant Naomi Reed reported, her fingers flying over the console. Damage to the lower decks! Shields down to 63% and dropping. Her usual steady tone wavered with urgency. Walker's jaw tightened. He had anticipated a hostile encounter, but not with this kind of raw firepower. Hold the line, he ordered coldly. Return fire! Plasma cannons, full spread! Commander Jack Holden relayed the command. All gunners, open fire! The Aurora trembled as its plasma batteries roared to life. Blazing spheres of superheated energy surged across the battlefield, streaking toward the alien ships. Some blasts connected, flaring against the enemy's shimmering purple shields, but they held firm. They're still coming, Holden muttered under his breath. They want to test us. Walker's eyes narrowed. Let's show them our strength. Concentrate fire on the lead vessel. All batteries, focus fire, Holden barked. A coordinated barrage erupted from the Aurora and her escorts, plasma beams converging on the largest alien craft. The enemy vessel trembled under the assault, its energy field flaring violently. For a moment, it seemed like their shields might collapse, but the ship retaliated with brutal efficiency. Incoming, Naomi warned, voice rising. A second wave of purple energy lanced toward them. The Aurora bucked hard as another blast struck home, sending sparks showering across the command deck. Shields down to 42%, Naomi reported. Walker steadied himself against the railing, the man refusing to give ground. We're not going down today. His voice was a razor's edge. Divert auxiliary power to shields. Keep firing until those ships are nothing but debris. Yes, sir, Holden snapped back. Through the viewport, the alien fleet advanced relentlessly, but the Aurora stood its ground. Plasma cannons thundered, and the cold silence of space burned with the fury of battle. This was no simple encounter. It was a fight for survival. The Aurora roared as its massive plasma cannons unleashed a relentless barrage of blue energy, slicing through the black void. Each blast lit up the darkness, a dazzling display of power and defiance. One of the alien vessels took a direct hit. The energy beam pierced its hull, sending shockwaves rippling across its surface. For a breathless moment, it trembled, and then erupted into a cascade of glowing debris, scattering in all directions. Target hit! One ship destroyed! Lieutenant Naomi Reed's voice rang out, a flicker of hope cutting through the tension. A brief cheer swept through the command deck, but it didn't last. The remaining two alien ships pressed forward, undeterred. Their eerie purple glow intensified as they twisted through space with impossible agility, weaving through the storm of human fire like phantoms. They're adapting to our targeting systems, Commander Jack Holden growled, frustration creeping into his tone. Walker's expression remained hard as steel. Adjust firing algorithms. Predict their movement patterns. We cannot let them break our line. Yes, sir, Holden snapped, fingers racing across the tactical console. The alien ships retaliated with a vicious counterattack. Pulses of purple energy streaked toward the Aurora, striking its weakened shields with brutal force. The ship trembled under the assault, sparks flying from overloaded circuits. Shield integrity at 28%. Naomi reported, tension thick in her voice. Another hit like that, and we'll lose primary defense. Walker clenched his fists. Redirect all auxiliary power to the shields. Keep us in this fight. The Aurora's engines groaned as energy surged through its systems, reinforcing the failing shield matrix. But the alien vessels were relentless, moving with impossible speed and precision. They're flanking us, Holden shouted. We can't keep up with their maneuvers. Walker's mind raced. This wasn't just a skirmish, it was a calculated test. And the enemy wasn't holding back. Full evasive, he ordered. Reposition the fleet, cut off their escape routes. The Aurora pivoted sharply, its engines burning bright as it shifted course. The escort ships followed in perfect unison, forming a defensive wedge to trap the alien intruders. Lock onto the lead vessel, Walker commanded, his voice cold and steady. Fire everything we have. Aye, sir, Holden responded, teeth clenched. A blinding volley erupted from the Aurora, the combined might of its plasma batteries and missile launchers converging on the nearest alien ship. This time, there was no escape. The alien vessel shuddered violently as the blasts tore through its shields, its sleek form fracturing into molten fragments before vanishing in a brilliant explosion. Second ship down, Naomi cried out. But the last enemy vessel showed no sign of retreat. It charged forward with terrifying speed, energy surging along its hull, preparing for a final devastating strike. Walker's eyes narrowed. We end this, now, face to face with the unknown. At that moment, the communication console flickered to life. A new signal was attempting to connect. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the alien vessel, Naomi exclaimed, her voice edged with disbelief. Walker's eyes narrowed. Patch it through, on screen, now! The main display flared as the image resolved into focus. A towering figure appeared, its frame humanoid but unnervingly alien. Its skin shimmered in shades of metallic blue-gray, reflecting the cold void of space. Twin golden eyes glowed like embers, piercing and unyielding. The bridge fell into a tense silence as the creature spoke. Its voice was deep and resonant, echoing as if from the depths of some distant, unknown world. You are trespassing in forbidden space, human. Walker took a measured breath, masking his surprise. This is Colonel Elias Walker of the Earth Alliance vessel Aurora. Identify yourself and state your intentions. The alien tilted its head slightly, as if studying him. There was no emotion in its expression, only cold calculation. I am High Commander Virek of the Zerithian Dominion. Your presence here is a violation. Withdraw immediately, or face annihilation. A chill swept through the command deck. Commander Holden's fists clenched at his sides. They fire on us first and then issue us a warning? He muttered under his breath. Walker remained composed. We detected your vessels near a destroyed colony world. Explain your actions. For a moment, Virek said nothing. Then his golden eyes flared brighter. Your kind meddles in forces beyond your comprehension. The destruction you speak of was a consequence of defiance. Naomi's fingers trembled over the controls. Sir, they're admitting to it. They destroyed that colony. Walker's jaw tightened. Why? Those were innocent lives. Innocent? Virek's tone grew colder. Your species expands without regard for the boundaries of others. This galaxy does not belong to you. Walker took a step forward, voice firm. We will not retreat from our own territories, Commander Virek. If you threaten Earth or its colonies again, we will respond with full force. A low, rumbling sound, almost like laughter, escaped Virek's throat. Your courage is noted, but it will not save you. Suddenly, the signal cut out, leaving only a flickering static hum. Transmission lost, Naomi confirmed, her voice uneasy. Walker's hands curled into fists. They're testing us, preparing for something bigger. Holden's expression hardened. Do we stand down, sir? Walker's gaze remained locked on the now empty screen. No, he said, voice steely. We stand our ground. The hum of the engines deepened as the Aurora and its fleet adjusted course, ready for whatever came next. In the vast expanse of space, the battle was far from over. The warning of the Aelith. A chilling voice echoed through the command deck. We are Aelith. You have trespassed into sacred territory. Withdraw or be destroyed. The image on the screen sharpened, revealing a figure cloaked in silver armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Their face was smooth, expressionless, with glowing violet eyes that burned with an otherworldly intensity. Colonel Elias Walker stepped forward, his stance unwavering. I am Colonel Elias Walker of the Earth Alliance. We do not seek conflict, but we will not retreat under threat. Why did you attack us? The Aelith commander tilted their head slightly, as though weighing their words. We did not attack. We defended. There is a greater threat approaching. If we do not unite, all will be destroyed. The weight of those words hung heavy in the air, casting a cold shadow over the bridge. Lieutenant Naomi Reed broke the silence, her voice barely above a whisper. Sir, what if they're telling the truth? Walker's jaw clenched, but his voice remained steady. What threat are you talking about? Be specific. The Aelith's eyes flared brighter. The Devourers. A shiver ran down Commander Holden's spine. I've heard that name before, he muttered. Rumors from the outer colonies, entire worlds disappearing without a trace. Walker narrowed his gaze. Who or what are they? The Aelith's voice dropped to a grave tone. They are a force that consumes everything in their path. Worlds, stars, entire civilizations. We fled to escape their hunger. Now they are coming here. The room fell into a tense stillness as the implications sank in. Naomi's fingers danced across her console. Sir, I'm detecting an energy surge, something massive approaching fast. Walker turned back to the screen. If this threat is real, why fire on us? Why not warn us sooner? We could not risk being exposed before we knew your intentions. Alone, you will not survive. Together, we may stand a chance. Commander Holden's skepticism burned through his words. And we're supposed to just trust you? Trust is irrelevant. Survival is what matters. Walker considered the alien's words carefully. There was no trace of deception, but the weight of their warning was almost too much to believe. What do you propose? He asked at last. A ceasefire. We will share what we know, but hesitate, and it will be too late. The signal wavered for a moment, but the Aelith's glowing gaze held steady. Decide quickly, Colonel Walker. The Devourers are coming. Walker took a deep breath, feeling the eyes of his crew on him. The future of humanity, and perhaps the galaxy itself, hung on his next decision. Common enemy. Before Walker could respond, the radar screen flared with crimson light. An enormous fleet was approaching at terrifying speed. Neither Earth ships nor Aelith vessels. Something else. What is that? Naomi whispered, her voice trembling with fear. The Aelith commander's tone grew harsher. They are the Ravagers, world destroyers. We must cooperate or all will perish. Walker took a deep breath, the weight of the moment pressing against his chest. He turned to his crew, his voice calm but firm. Status report. How close are they? 5 minutes until they're within firing range, Naomi said, scanning the data. Their energy signatures, sir. I've never seen anything like this. Commander Holden stepped forward, eyes locked on the shifting data. If they're as dangerous as the Aelith claim, we're outmatched, even with their help. Walker's jaw tightened. There was no time for hesitation. Open a secure channel to the Aelith flagship. Naomi nodded briskly. Channel open, sir. Walker faced the alien figure again. If we work together, how do we stop them? The Aelith's glowing violet eyes burned with fierce intensity. Ravagers consume energy and matter alike. Their core ships are shielded by quantum barriers. Your weapons will not penetrate them alone. But combined with ours, we can break through. And if we don't, Holden asked coldly, then this system will burn and your people with it. A tense silence fell over the bridge. Walker's mind raced. Trusting an alien species that had fired on them minutes ago was a gamble, but doing nothing meant certain destruction. Admiral Addy needs to know about this, Naomi urged. No time, Walker snapped. We make the call now. He turned to the Aelith. What do you need from us? Coordinate your fire with ours. We will target their core ships while you strike their propulsion. Disrupt their advance, or we lose everything. Walker nodded, the decision made. We fight together. The Aelith inclined their heads slightly, a gesture of trust, perhaps. Good. Prepare yourselves, Colonel Walker. The battle is upon us. Naomi, relay battle plans to the fleet, Walker commanded. Holden, bring weapons to full power. We fight to the last. The bridge hummed with renewed purpose as the crew sprang into action. The future of humanity and the galaxy depended on this fragile alliance. Through the viewport, distant stars faded behind the looming shadow of the Ravager fleet. The battle for survival had begun. Open a channel to the entire fleet. We're fighting alongside them against our common enemy. Naomi nodded, her voice steady but filled with determination. Yes, Colonel? I just hope we're not too late. Walker turned back to the holographic display. The massive shadow of the Ravager fleet crept closer, an overwhelming force against their combined ships. Time was running out. Commander Holden, Walker said sharply, prepare all weapon systems. Focus on their propulsion cores. We hit them where it hurts. Holden's hands moved swiftly across the console. Weapons at full capacity, sir. We're ready. The Aelith commander's voice echoed through the comms. We are aligning our strike patterns with yours. Fire on our signal. Walker exhaled slowly, focusing on the battle ahead. All ships, maintain formation. Hold your fire until my command. The seconds crawled by. On the radar, the Ravager ships loomed larger, an unstoppable tide of destruction. Incoming! Naomi warned. They're charging weapons. A bright lance of crimson energy erupted from the lead Ravager ship, tearing through the void. The Aurora trembled under the impact. Shields down to 47%, Holden barked. They're too strong for us alone. Walker's fists clenched. We're not alone. The Aelith commander's voice cut through the tension. Now, fire! Open fire! Walker roared. The Aurora unleashed a blinding barrage of plasma rounds, joined by the synchronized blasts of the Aelith vessels. Explosions rippled across the enemy lines as the combined assault found its mark. Direct hit, Naomi shouted. One of their propulsion cores is failing! Stay on them, Walker ordered. Push them back! The bridge shook again as the Ravagers retaliated, but this time they were faltering. For the first time, hope flickered in the darkness. A new beginning. Amid the cosmic battlefield, the Aurora soared at the forefront of the human fleet, flying in unison with the sleek, shimmering vessels of the Aelith. Explosions bloomed across the void, bursts of deadly fireworks illuminating the fragile alliance between two civilizations once poised for conflict. Now, they fought side by side for a shared cause, protecting all life from total annihilation. On the bridge, Colonel Walker stood tall, his gaze fixed on the unfolding battle. Energy blasts crisscrossed the darkness, striking Ravager ships with relentless force. Each coordinated strike from human and Aelith forces pushed the enemy back, inch by inch. Enemy formation weakening, Naomi reported, her voice tight with tension. We're breaking through, Walker nodded, his jaw clenched. Stay on them. We finish this together. A massive Ravager warship drifted into view, its jagged hull crackling with unstable energy. Walker's eyes narrowed. Target their core. All weapons, fire on my command. The Aurora trembled as its cannons unleashed a devastating salvo. Beside it, Aelith ships fired in perfect sync. The combined assault struck true, piercing through the Ravager's defenses. In a blinding explosion, the warship shattered into 1,000 burning fragments. A brief silence fell over the bridge as the last echoes of the blast faded. Naomi scanned the battlefield, her breath hitching. Ravager fleet is retreating, sir. We did it. Walker allowed himself a rare smile. We did more than survive, he murmured. We found something worth fighting for, together. The Aelith commander's voice cut through the comms. Colonel Walker, you have proven your people's strength and your honor. This is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. Walker inclined his head slightly. Let's hope so. Beyond the shattered remnants of the Ravager fleet, stars stretched endlessly across the void, silent witnesses to an unexpected alliance. As the Aurora and the Aelith ships drifted side by side, Walker whispered to himself, maybe. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new era. And in the vast emptiness of space, beneath the distant light of countless stars, hope burned brighter than ever before. If you enjoyed this epic battle and the unexpected alliance between humans and the mysterious Aelith, there's so much more to come. This is just the beginning of an incredible journey across the stars. What other secrets lie beyond the galaxy? Will humanity and the Aelith stand together against future threats, or will new dangers arise? Stay tuned to find out. Don't miss a moment of the action. Hit that subscribe button now. If you love the story, give us a like. It helps us bring you even more thrilling adventures. Share this video with your friends and fellow space enthusiasts. Let's explore the universe together. Your support fuels the next chapter of this cosmic saga. Who knows what lies ahead? With you by our side, the journey is just beginning. Subscribe today and join us as we uncover the mysteries of the galaxy, one battle at a time. Thank you for watching. See you in the next adventure.